Hello, everybody. So, today we will see how we can add collisions to our game and we will also add Y sorting. Now, what does Y sorting mean? In short, it means standing behind trees. So, let's see how we can do this. And I have opened my Godot game engine once again, and I hope you remember how our game looked like. In case you don't, we can take a quick look by pressing the run current scene button, and we have our beautiful player and we can walk around and also ride through trees, bushes, as well as houses. This is something we definitely don't want. And to do this, we have to add collisions. And doing it is very easy and also a little bit complex. So what we have to do first is address an issue that had been bugging us for a while, but we have been ignoring it. And that is in our collision shape 2D, we don't have a shape. So if we click on this in the right hand side, we can see that our shape is empty. So what we can do is we can click on this and we can add a new shape. I would like to add a circle shape. Now you may wonder that our player is not a circle, so why are we adding a circle shape? It's for simplicity as of now. So this is our collision shape. Now we don't want this to be so big. It should definitely be much smaller than our player. So I will just make it small, something like this. Maybe even smaller, something like this. And let's fit it correctly. So we have our shape. Let's take this one a little bit smaller and yeah, I think this is fine. Later we may increase it if required. Now if we go back to our game, our collisions will still not work because only our player has collision, but all our tiles and trees and everything do not have anything. So what we can do to add collisions to our assets is we will click on the tile map layer. And in the tile map layer, in the right hand side, you can see something called physics layers, and we have to add a physics layer. If we click on the add element, you can see we have a collision layer and a collision mask. Now you can ignore the collision mask for now. We will briefly focus on the collision layer, and as you can see, there are many. We will not need all of this. So for now, we can only use the collision layer one. Now, whenever we are clicking on the physics layers, if you create a physics layer, by default, its name will be physics layer 0. So if we go to let's click on our basic grass tiles and if we go to tile set and here we have something called a selective property editor. If we click on this, we will see something called a physics layer 0. So what is this physics layer 0? So this will give physics to our objects and physics in this case is our collision. So what we will do is let's take something, let's take a bush. So in our map, we have a bush here. So let's see, we can collide with our bush or not. So we have a bush here. So if we click on this, we can see that our whole bush is covered by this bluish color. What this means is there is a square collision in our bush now. So let me save and let's run our game and see if something changes or not. So we have our player here and now if we come here, as you can see, we are colliding with this bush. Seems good for now, right? But we can make it better. So I will just close this and we'll go to our tile map layer once again. And here in the tile set, in the properties, we have our physics layer. Now, if you see, our bush is not really a square. It has a different shape, and so we can also change the shapes. And also, one thing, whenever we are very close to the bush, I really don't want to like collide with the top end of the bush because the bush also has a backside. Like the tree has a front side, the tree also has a backside. So I want to give some gaps at the top. Now, also one more thing is we can add more points to have a better shape by clicking somewhere in the middle. So I want to give this shape to our bush. Now, if I simply click on this, we will have this shape. And also for our bush with our fruits, we can have the same shape. Now, if I play our game once again, we will see some difference. Let's come over to this side. And as you can see, I am colliding a little bit inside, but also there is a problem and that is I am going right into the bush. So the bottom animation, I mean the collision is fine, but left, right, and also the top, there is little bit of an issue. Now if the same thing happens with our trees, there will be a very big problem. So what is this issue happening? So this is what we call Y sorting. So what does Y sort mean? So Y sort means, so let's say our player is moving. So we have an X and a Y value, right? So X value is the horizontal value and the Y value is the vertical value. So all of our objects have a certain X value and a Y value, but it is not keeping track of what is the Y of the player and the objects at a certain point of time. I mean, it has the number, but it is not like colliding based on those values. So because it doesn't know, we have just created something, sprites and something, but the engine doesn't know that what we want. So what we have to do is we have to enable by sorting. So if I go to our player in our, if I click on the player, in the ordering section, you can see something called Y sort enabled. So we have to make it on. We will save, and in our tile set also. Now we don't want to enable by sorting in our top tile map because this is only grass. So in the second layer, what I want to do is I want to enable by sorting. So what I will do is I will come here below in the ordering section. I will enable by sorting. Now if I do this and then if I run the game once again, let's see if we see any difference or not. And I will come here. So the bottom is fine mostly. So we don't see any changes. Now why is that? So let's try to understand why that is the case. And that is because if I come to my tile map layer and in the tile set section, there are two things actually here. So one is called a texture origin. So in the texture origin, you can see many things here. So for example, I have this tree here and the trees also have some boxes inside. So this is like considering like this art, like these points you see, red points. This is like the center of these objects. So these boxes will start at different positions. You see there is an orange box and inside there is another box. Now this is one thing. Now what I can do is let me make it -5. And if I click on this, you can see that there's a little bit of a change, right? Let me make it 5 instead. Now let me click on this again. As you can see, both in our map as well as here, the positions have changed a little bit. So now it will consider this point as the center of the tree and not when we had a y equals to 0. Now, if you think correctly, our tree collision is actually with our trunk. We are not really colliding with our like leaves because leaves are at the top and we don't really want to do that. In case we are doing that, uh, that will be another problem because we have lots of trees here and our movement space will become very squeezed if we had so much collision. So, for example, these two trees, if those two trees had a box collision, it will be very difficult to pass through them. So, we definitely don't want that. We want to collide only with the trunks. And to do that, we will make it, let's say, 8. So, these things will come down. This can be 10 also. So, we'll make it 10. So, this. These things will also change a little bit. Now we also have bushes and houses and something else. So here definitely 10 is not a good idea. So maybe 5. So 5 for this one and this one. And also for our house. So for our house, where do I want my collision to be? 5. Oh, okay. I think for our house, 0 is fine maybe. What about 10? House. No, I think for our house, 5 is good. Or maybe a 0. We don't really need anything. Yeah, 0 is fine for the house. Because house, we cannot really hide in the backside of the house. Yeah. So this is our texture origin. So this is like basically pointing the center, but we also have another thing that is called a Y sort origin. So what is a Y sort origin? So for example, consider this tree. Let me click on the Y sort origin and here. So in the tree, as you can see, so this is our Y sort origin. So our Y sort origin will compare that with our player. So both our player and our tree will have a Y sort origin. So if I go to my player, and this is my player, right? And this is the center of our player. So it will compare these 2 points, and whichever point has a greater y value, it will keep it in front, and with a lower y value, it will keep in the backside. So in the tile set y sort origin, we have a tree, and I think we can keep it little bit at the top. So this is way down. I think that is not good. So we'll do a -5. Uh, I think -4 is better. -4 here, -4, -4. So above this value, I want to keep everything in the backside. And in case we have some issues, we can change, of course. So this is -4 for these two. I think this is fine. And whatever our house has, I think, a correct y sort value only. A little bit at the top, maybe. Maybe we can do more, maybe -8. Okay, we'll see. We'll see based on the interactions. So now if I save, and we also have to give our physics to our trees and everything. So now if I once again go back to the physics layer 0, you see some changes happen, right? So consider our like bush or whatever. So our bush and the other bush, what really happened? So these collision shapes came downwards. Why? Because we have changed our origin y, right? So we have to make some adjustments. And this is also a reason I didn't want to give collisions to all the trees and everything, because I know this will happen. So yeah. Anyway, let's adjust our collision. So it will be this is the center, this, and something. What happened? Oh, this is way too small for me. Sometimes these issues will happen. Let me just make it bigger, and let's adjust these things. Uh, so collision will be this and this, let's say. And same for this also. Now, when it comes to the big trees, it will be something else. It will be this. Let's consider it like this. Maybe a little bit above here. Something like this. This is a bigger tree, so we'll have it covering more space. You can say that. And let's also give a better shape like this. So this tree as well as this tree. Maybe we can make it thicker. I don't know. This. Okay. So now if I once again run our scene, let's see what we get. So our player is moving, and our player is once again on top of our tree. So the downward collision is perfectly fine. So this is well and good. But for some reason, our Y sort is still not working. So why is that the case? Let's try to understand. Okay, so for our house, for some reason, even the regular collision is not working. But yeah, anyway, we can add the regular collisions. We understood how to do that. But let's try to understand why our Y sort is not working. And the reason is not that complex actually. So in our game, what are we doing is we have first of all this tile layer that has our grass, and then we have another tile layer that has the Y sort on, and then we have a player that also has the Y sorting on. Now, what I want to do is something like this. I want to keep my player inside my parent tilemap layer. So I will keep my player below the tilemap layer. And now this parent tilemap layer has one tilemap layer and a player that both has a Y sorting on. Now, what I would like to do is keep the Y sorting on for the parent tilemap layer, and then this will be working fine. So let's first do that, but there are a few more issues that we need to take care of. So in the original tile map layer, what I will do is I will go to ordering and I will enable by sort. Now you see some problem. So because all the three, like the first tile map, second tile map, and the player, all of them have a Y sort enabled. It is calculating the Y values and we are having some weird results. Now, to fix this, what we have to simply do is we have to give the second, like the child tile map, and our player a z index of 1, which means that our player and our tile map, like the child tile map, is on top of the parent tile map, if you know what I mean. Okay, it's not -1, it will be +1. So now our player and our trees and everything are looking perfectly fine. Now there will be another minor issue that I have briefly mentioned in the last video, and that is all of our these small patches of grass you see, right? So all of these patches of grass are actually part of the second tile map, like the child tile map. And so this will cause a little bit of a problem. But I want to show you that our Y sorting will work perfectly fine. In other words, we can stand behind trees. So let me run the game once again. We have our player. And what I want to do is I will come here, and as you can see, I can collide and I can come right behind our trees. And here I want to show you the issue. So for our bush, it is perfectly fine. But if I go here, as you can see, the problem, right? So because this is also part of the second tile map, it is also comparing the y sort values with our player, and this is what is happening. Now, resolving this is very simple. I think you already know how to do this. That is, we have to keep all of this in the parent, like tile map. Okay. So for our house, it is not yet working. So we are standing behind, but we are not really colliding. And this is actually a collision issue, not really the grass issue. I mean, grass in the sense it is not really the Y sorting issue. And resolving this is very easy. What we have to do is we have to go to our tile map layer. I have the chicken house. I will go to tile set, paint, select property, physics layer 0, and I have to add a collision. So something like this. Maybe we can expand the shape. Here, here, mm, something like this. And now, if I run our game once again, what I will do is this. So I'm colliding with our house. Now, backward collision is fine. Forward collision, I'm going way inside, and that is because our player has our collision shape downwards, and so this is also a reason for our chicken house. Where is it? When I'm selecting the collision, I'm actually keeping it downwards than our scene. Now this can be adjusted. We can keep the collision for our player a little bit upwards. We can, the origin value of a player, we can keep it down. So all of these things can be done. And now the other issue, and that is our grass. So our grass is part of the tile map layer, the parent one, but the grass patches are part of the second tile map, which is wrong. We have to keep all of our grass in the parent tile map. Now resolving this is actually a little bit tedious, not complex, but little bit time consuming. So what I will do is I will create a new map for our next video, and you can also do so. Because what we really have to do is we have to clean up the entire tile map layer, like the child one. And then what we have to do is we have to recreate our parent one. So everything is cleaned here. Now in the parent one, we will go to our grass, not this grass, the other grass. I think the first one only. Now we have to select one by one and we have to draw. So we'll go to tile map, we'll select this and we will draw like this. Now there is another problem I think happening, and that is, so this is fine. Okay, this will not be fine because as you can see, the background here is quite transparent. So we will not be able to use these things. If we keep this in the second one, then we will be able to use this one. So that is also another reason I think I have. So this is something we can do, but not the other way. But you have seen the problem. Our player will go behind this one, this thing. So yeah, so we can create a better map for the next video. And our basic character animation and our game is working perfectly fine, I would say. And we will take it forward. And in our next game, we'll try to add another character or an enemy or something like that. So yeah, so that's it for this video, folks. And if you have learned something new, make sure to like, share, and subscribe on my channel so I can grow it fast. And I will see you soon with another very interesting video.